Hello, welcome to the Robotics for Kids tutorial. My name is Emerike Adaeze. I'm a STEM education facilitator and I'll be your guide through this video. Hello guys, welcome to another session of the Robotics for Kids online experiment. Hope you're having a fantastic day. In this session, we'll be making something unique and interesting. It's a hovercraft. A hovercraft, also known as an air cushion vehicle, ACV, is an amphibious vehicle. It moves on land, on water, mud, and several other surfaces. And this movement is aided by air that is pumped under it. That air creates a lift and allows the vehicle to hover over the surface, and that is the movement. Now, an example is if I would want to roll my hand on this surface. Now, let's assume my palm is bare and this surface is bare. I will try to apply pressure and then to push my palm forward. I will notice that it is actually difficult for me to do this because of the friction my palm and the surface creates. But then if I pour oil on this surface or my palm and then try it again, it will be much easier for me to glide my palm on this surface because now there is oil and that oil combats the friction. It makes the surface smoother. Now, another scenario could be you trying to walk on a surface with a lot of gravel or on a very rocky road, or trying to bike on it or even drive a car on it. Now, compare the scenario where you're walking on that rocky surface and where you're walking on a tarred road. It will be easier for you and faster actually to move on the tarred road instead of walking on the rocky surface. So because of the difficulty in movements that friction creates, it limits how fast vehicles can go. But then there are other things that could be used to combat that friction and allow the vehicle move forward. And in this case, in the case of the hovercraft, it is air. So we're going to be making our own prototype of the hovercraft. This is actually a very fun experiment that you can do at parties or at home at your leisure. You can actually compete with someone to see who will be faster and actually whose vehicle will be faster. So I have, to make the hovercraft, I have balloons, I have glue, I'm using super glue. Then you also need discs, CD-ROMs, and either of these two. Okay, so if you look at this, you see it's a Morning Fresh container, and this is of course a Coca-Cola bottle container. So the pop top of the Morning Fresh container is already built to regulate or control anything that is passing through it, whether liquid or air. So the way it works is that if you press this down, it closes this nozzle here, and it can't, this nozzle, once it is closed, it won't allow anything to pass through it. But then if you pull it, it opens the nozzle again, so air, liquid or whatever can go through it and come out of the surface, or go through here and come out of the surface. So this nozzle will help us regulate the air that will be coming from this balloon out through the space. Now, if you don't have this, you can make do with the top of a Coca-Cola bottle or any other pop top you can find around you. So what you will need to do is just to perforate here, just perforate and add a little hole, very small one, as I have done here, and then you could use this as a substitute for this one. What I find as a limiting factor when using the Coke bottle top is that it's actually harder for me, I don't know about others, to try to wrap the balloon around it. So I usually prefer using this, but you can try this as well. It might be actually easier for you to work with it. So let's proceed. It's actually easy to do this. What you need to do first is to get your disc. Of course, let it be a disc that no one will need to use, that has nothing recorded on it that is of any value. So it could be something you could throw away and it would not cost anybody anything. And then I would take this pop top. So make sure that whatever pop top you're getting could fit and cover the hole in this disc, like this one. It could cover this completely. here, if I insert my finger here, this could cover it entirely. So make sure that whichever one you're getting, it's not smaller than the size of the hole in your disc. So what we're going to be doing is to attach this to this piece and seal it off completely so that air cannot escape through this area. Air is only allowed to leave from the upper part that has the nozzle. So for that, I'll be using a glue. Okay. And of course, remember to be careful while using a glue. It can automatically stick your hand or any surface to anything, and it will be very difficult to attach. So I'll carefully pour a little. I'll just pump it out little by little all around this piece. Now let the excess fall here. I'll pour a little here too. And now I'll stick this to the surface. Now I'll let this sit for a while. I'll just apply pressure. Okay, I think it's strong now. But because I don't have a tape or anything to use to seal off this piece, I will apply more glue around it, just to make sure that air does not escape through any opening that we might have there. So all around it, we'll apply a small amount of glue. And I'll let it sit for a while too. You can blow it just to make it dry faster. And once you're done with your glue, make sure to just cover this and keep it. Now, if you're not using the pop top, I actually have 2 discs here, and I could show you how to make use of this. It's basically the same way. You just glue this to this. You see, the size of my bottle lid can cover the hole in the disc. So just make sure you glue it properly to this surface and seal off any other hole you think. Just seal off the entire surface to avoid air escaping, just this way, the way I've done with this one. And then what next you would do is to get your balloon, of course, and blow it out. Just be careful so it doesn't pop in your face. Now, okay, let me add more. Once you get the desired size, twist it a little, just so that it can hold off from letting air out until you place it around this. Make sure your pop top lid is sealed, that it's closed. Make sure it's pressed down. I'll clear the table to create space for the movement. Have this here. This over here too. So carefully use your fingers to widen this and wear it on the pop top lid. Once it's properly fitting, then release it. Now you notice that there is no air going out because here is properly sealed and the nozzle inside is not yet open. So when I pull this up and the nozzle opens, what will happen is that the air in the balloon will rush out through the opening in that nozzle to come out here. If that air, because the air is coming out with a certain amount of pressure, the air will create lift for this hovercraft. It will raise it up a little so that, because the air is looking for room where to escape to, the air will create the lift. It will raise this up a little, and it allows this glide over the surface, allowing it to move at will. And if I need to apply force, then this will definitely move faster than now, how it is moving now, that there is no air on it. Yeah. And without air on it, it can't move on its own. But when I pull up this nozzle, and that air that is rushing out through here would cause this to lift, and then allows it to glide over the surface. So let's try it. I'll pull this up. Yeah. Okay, so that was nice. Let's try it again. Twist it and then wear it on this. So you can get a bigger balloon so that you can blow more air into it, and it allows it to run for a longer time. Twist and you allow it. And there you go. That's your hovercraft. So you can try this at home with a sibling, a friend, or even in parties. You can try using the pop top lid or the lid of any other normal fizzy juice container. Remember that the hole you create in this has to be small. So now compare the speed of this, because of the amount of air that the nozzle lets out at a time, and the speed of this one because of the amount of air this hole lets out at a certain time. So compare their speed. Well, you can time yourself to see who gets their hovercraft done faster, and to see which of the hovercrafts moves faster. So do have fun doing this, and of course stay safe.